Hi there, my name is Darren Graham. This is my TCM4 presentation on strategic planning. And the program that I'd like to present today is RD3x3, which is a Fiba 3x3 basketball initiative. So my story started in 2019 when I came to Red Deer to coach the Red Deer Polytechnic men's basketball program. This coincided with the UCP Party of Alberta winning an election and subsequently cutting funding to post-secondary institutions. And consequently, athletic programs were sliced as well. So since then, our scholarship budget has been cut substantially every year by 20% or more. And traditionally, basketball student athletes don't come from very affluent families as compared to volleyball families or hockey families, which stereotypically, as a generalization, have a little bit more disposable income to support those athletes. In addition to that, there is a growing financial burden on student athletes. Tuition is rising and cost of living is rising. And there are some major funding gaps for student athletes. So some of the challenges to putting together a program to support athletes are what I would call territorial bureaucracy, which is the idea that a lot of the departments at a big institution like a college or a polytechnic kind of are most interested in protecting themselves, and it's hard to initiate something new. Also, there's a conflict of interest as a coach to do work in the community. So I can do work for the college, but I can't do work in the community because it's seen as competing with the college. So I just have to mind my P's and Q's when it comes to the work that I do in the community. And there are some existing programs in the community that we have relationships with, like youth basketball and some of the club programs that are run by alumni, so we don't want to step on their toes either. And then also the time and resources that it takes to start a program in the community. So we saw an opportunity with Fiba 3x3. It's a really popular, fast-growing sport. It made its debut in the most recent Olympics. It's very simple, it's accessible, and all you need is a hoop, a half court. You need some players and usually music. Not that you need the music, but it makes it fun. It fills a competition and development gap in the community, so there's not a 3x3 league or tournaments per se. And I think it would open some doors to getting some training done from the college side of things without compromising the conflict of interest. And then it also could generate some scholarship revenue for our basketball program. Further to that, I think running a program in the community could build some healthy relationships, bringing kids and families into our facility, getting to know some of the players. It provides service opportunities for the student athletes to coach, officiate, manage, and connect and mentor the players. And it provides revenue opportunities for student athletes just to make some extra money on the side doing some of those things, whether it's getting sponsorship from families or coaching or officiating or managing. The dream, the big picture in terms of what I would love a program to look like would be having Central Alberta community having fun, training and competing at 3x3 basketball. Generating some income to support athletic scholarships for student athletes, and student athletes coaching, managing, and serving their community through basketball. So that would be the big picture, what I'd love to see. Why are we doing this? Number one, we want to serve the community. We think that a community like Red Deer, which is a city of about 100,000, can support a league or tournaments in a 3x3 format, a safe place for kids to have fun, to play, to outlet and be fit. And it helps grow the game of basketball. We can develop talent locally through competition and training. And it connects the community with RDP, Red Deer Polytechnic Athletics, and their facilities. And you can see from the picture there, we have a beautiful facility that opened just a couple years ago. Of course, we want to support student athletes by generating revenue for scholarships. We want to provide service opportunities for the student athletes, as mentioned before, which connects with my vision as a coach, and provide income generating opportunities for student athletes, doing things like coaching and officiating. We want to build the sport. We want to provide excellent training from capable coaches, expose children to one of the most popular, fast-growing, and fun sports available, and identify and grow local talent. Okay, so how do I plan on getting there? So I kind of worked through the OKR sheet and built some key results, and putting together a tournament, as I found out, is going to take probably more work than I thought, and we're in the middle of the season, so I got my work cut out for me. But it involves probably building a website or using social media just to have a point of contact and relay the information, identifying facilities, insurance, equipment, and personnel to run the tournament, connecting the existing networks and building new networks to find registrants, and fully plan, schedule, staff, and organize a 3-on-3 basketball tournament at the school, and then run a safe and fun event for youth adults in Central Alberta. So I went through the rest of it there, but definitely a large-scale project. From there, we did overcome the conflict of interest issue that had come up, and I got permission from my athletic director to do something on my own, but that kind of like opened up a new can of worms, because that means I have to shell out some of the money and get things like insurance on my own dime and under my own name. So I could, I guess, create more revenue for myself personally, but that's not really the idea here. The idea is to generate revenue for our scholarships. And it just means that it's going to take more time and energy. I went through the SWOT graphic organizer here, and I think I went through most of these things already. This really did point out some of the, I guess, hurdles that I'm going to have to cross. And I think some of the cool things at the end there are some trends that are actually supporting 3x3 basketball moving forward. And finally, just touching on these, I think the Aspire statement is in the right place in terms of transforming, using the OKR sheet. I think that'll help me get to where I need to be. The liberating, I think, when you start something like this, understanding that, the numbers might not be there at the beginning, but if you get some momentum in a community like Red Deer, I think it can be something really sustainable. And I think that families in a community like this would really gravitate to the Aspire statement of supporting college athletes rather than generating income. So I think that's a good wise statement there. And accountability, I think the big piece with accountability would be holding myself accountable to managing my time and resources properly, as well as holding the athletes accountable to investing as much into the program as their coach would be. And finally, the synergy would just be, again, reevaluating how the program's going, if athletes are buying in, if registrants and the community are having fun and returning for tournaments or even 3x3 league play on an ongoing basis. Anyways, that's my presentation. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry I'm not here to answer questions. Have a great afternoon.